silently begging her magic to work, though begging hadn't had much effect lately, to be honest. Alas, her face formed a rather regrettable expression that made Oswin snigger behind a fluffy green paw.
"Looks like you needs the privy."
Willow ignored this. Her heart pounded, but despite how much she tried, her hands remained empty. She just couldn't seem to find her friend. Which was unfortunate, as Willow had a magical ability for finding lost things, like shoes or socks, or most recently, a lost day that had been stolen by the Brothers of Woll using a 1,000-year-old spell. With the help of her friends, including Nolan Sometimes himself and Morig Vane, the most powerful witch in Starfell, Willow had got it back. But she had never tried to find a missing person before. The closest she had ever got to that was when she found Oswin. She had summoned him from a neighbour's stove a few years ago and never quite got rid of him since. Willow sighed, then glanced at Oswin with a frown.
"Never mind how I look. Nolan Sometimes has been captured."
Oswin sat up fast, releasing a puff of blue coal dust into the air. In his outrage, his fur went from the colour of lime cordial to bright pumpkin in an instant, one of the side effects of his koboldish heritage. He blinked large, lamp-like eyes, and his ears flattened to his skull in shock.
"What? Why'd they take him?"
Willow shook her head. "I don't know. Maybe he's made someone a bit cross or something." The kobold shrugged a shaggy shoulder as the idea of Nolan Sometimes making someone a bit cross was entirely possible. He couldn't exactly help it. As a forgotten teller, or an oublier, to use their official name, sometimes had visions of other people's memories when he was around them, even the shameful ones. To make matters worse, he then blurted these secrets out loud. He didn't know what was happening when the memories washed over him, so he couldn't control this. Still, it made some people a bit angry. Murderous, even, if the stories of what had happened to some of the other forgotten tellers over the years were true. And the trouble was, when Willow stopped to think about it, Nolan Sometimes could have been taken by just about anyone, really. She looked at the leaf scroll again, as if hoping it would offer something, anything else to help her find him. But aside from a tiny splodge that looked a bit like a flower where the ink had run next to the forgotten teller's name, there was nothing. Willow sighed and paced the dusty attic floor, leaving a small trail of sock prints behind. Then she tried to use her magic again, hoping that this time it would just work. But the problem was that lately it just wouldn't. Unbidden, her sister Camille's voice flared in her mind.
"Well, I've never been unable to use my magic before, not even when I had rumble fever and was nearly on my deathbed. But then I suppose it's hard to lose a really powerful ability. Maybe yours was so weak, Willow, that all it took to make it disappear was a really good sneeze."
Willow took a deep breath and pushed her sister's annoying voice out of her mind. She was fairly sure magical abilities didn't just disappear with sneezes. Mostly sure.
"Just focus, Willow,"
she said aloud, picturing her friend's wild white hair, skinny frame, and the way he always had so many pockets filled with strange plants. She tried with all her might to find him, but nothing happened. Until something did. Something a bit unfortunate, which began with a rather loud popping sound and the familiar wailings of a certain kobold.
"Oh, no!" cried Oswin. "Oh, me greedy aunt, why'd you curse me to live with witches?"
He dived out of the stove and shot into the much-repaired and patched-together green, hairy carpet bag near Willow's feet, which started to shake violently. Willow shut her eyes, afraid to look. She heard about it, though, soon enough. There was another loud pop, followed by a bellow from her mother downstairs. "Willow Moss! What did I say about trying to use your magic before you've recovered?" Willow swallowed.
That I shouldn't?"
she mumbled, reluctantly opening an eye, only to blanch.